6 steps to get a mining job. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and today I just want to talk about the 6 steps involved in getting a mining job. When it comes to chasing down work in the mining industry, the best advice that I've ever heard is to go where the employers are having to hire new starters, so they've got no choice, they've got to fill the roles with new starters, and then to give them what they want. So we're going to keep that in mind as we go through our 6 steps. So first off, research. Where are these jobs? And with this, if you Google it, it can lead you down a bit of a rabbit hole with ticketing and R2 tickets and all that sort of stuff. But I find it's best to go directly to the source. So today we're going to type underground into Seek, and we're going to type surface as well as exploration into Seek to see what the jobs actually have to say. If you type underground into Seek, you'll see a lot of jobs come up, and there's full crew ads, and this is a full crew ad. So Prybar are looking for people in New South Wales. They've got a number of sites there. They're struggling for people, unfortunately, so they're trying to take advantage of the closed borders, see if they've got anybody that was working out of state that can't get out, that wants a job. And as you can see, they're looking for the full crew. Now, the one thing that they're not asking for is any R2 tickets. What they're asking for is the statutory qualifications that are involved in the industry. So that's your WA supervisor's ticket and your New South Wales supervisor's ticket and your shot firer's tickets, which are WA or New South Wales based. So in New South Wales, they'll accept all the WA qualifications, but I can tell you this here and now, WA won't accept the New South Wales ones back the other way. WA sees themselves as the standard. Everybody comes from around the world to get their qualifications here. I got my WA Shift Bosses ticket in 2007, and it's virtually an international qualification now. So there's lots of people working on mine sites all over the world that have got these tickets that are in high supervisory positions and getting paid lots of money. So that's your career path if you're wanting to go underground. Now, if you want to have a look at the surface, if you type surface in, you'll see there's lots of exploration stuff going on. And again, if you click on one of these jobs, and there's a surface operator job with Redpath here in Queensland, it's a ROM loader job. And again, nowhere in the ad are they asking for any tickets. They just want people that are experienced and know how it all works. The last place to look is exploration. And there's lots of fieldy jobs going around. So that's your other area of trying to get into the industry. So at the moment, there's lots of new starter jobs going in underground, in surface exploration and underground exploration. So off-siding on the surface and in the field assistance on the surface. Where there's not a lot of jobs is in the iron ore industry. Now, one of the reasons that is because most of the big strip mines up north, they're turning driverless. And this is a video that I did a few weeks ago, or a few months ago now actually, from Roy Hill, and it's actually an honest ad that tells you that we will take you on as a new starter, but you only have a job for 2 years maximum, and if we can turn the mine site driverless before that, you'll be let go before that. And it states that in there that the job's only till 2023, and this is what's going on a lot of iron ore sites as well as coal mines in Queensland that are also strip mines. So there's a lot of people with surface truck driving experience to fill the roles of surface truck drivers in the open pits. There are some entry-level truck driving jobs going in open coal pits and open gold pits around Kalgoorlie and in the eastern states, but it's more of a handful. So there might be 1 or 2 jobs per 1,000 people applying, whereas with hard rock underground and exploration, every employer around the country and virtually every mine site around the country is having to hire entry-level people for those bottom jobs. So we've covered where the jobs are, and we've done our research into qualifications. All right, next we're going to talk about the resume. So if we come over and have a look at the sponsor's website, Underground Training, they've done a page on resumes, and I've done some videos on those that you can have a look at. But this is the before resume. So if you're going for a coal mining job, or you're going for a job in construction or something like that, then this is an appropriate resume. It's got all the tickets that they want to see. Now, the problem with sending one of these resumes off to a hard rock underground job, or even a exploration job or a surface hard rock job, is that none of the employers can use these R2 tickets. So when you send this resume into a hard rock job, what's it saying to the person reading it that's supposed to give you the job? Well, it's screaming that, well, you don't know anything about how it works on their mine site, that they can't use these R2 tickets, that they have to do all their ticketing on site. And this is really important, because this gets back to what the employers really are asking for when they're asking for experience. I just want to show you this page from the sponsors training, and it goes through the experience. And it's one of the reasons why I always, whenever we post a job, we always tell people to only apply if you've got your mining knowledge up to speed. And the reason that we do that is because we don't really want to lead people into something that they're going to be set up to fail with. So when an underground employer wants 6 months experience, these are the sort of questions that they expect somebody with 6 months experience to be able to answer. Now, all this information is contained in the sponsors training, Intro to Underground Mining. So all that information's in there. So if you can learn all that information and then communicate that to the employer, then all they have to do, well, they realise quite quickly that because you know all this, all they have to do is teach you how to drive the truck for you to become a safe and productive member of crew. Now, if you can do that, then you're well and truly on your way to getting yourself a job. And you can have a look at our page, our Wall of Fame page, for all the people that have gotten jobs. Oh, and I need to have a shout out to John, who just recently picked up himself a fly-in, fly-out job as a truck driver from Perth with one of the big contractors. Well done, John. So, what do you need to keep doing once you've got your resume together and it looks good? Well, you need to keep applying. You'll be able to see, if we go back to underground jobs, there's lots of them and they come up constantly. So you really need to set aside probably half an hour a day to go through it and apply every single day to the new jobs that come up. And I always tell people, especially in the underground space, because the fact is that there are no experienced people around. Everybody that wants a job's got one. How do you know that? Well, 2 years ago, an underground truck driver was making $380 a day. Now, some companies around Kalgoorlie are paying $540, $550 a day for the same truck driver. Wages don't go up like that if you've got experienced people running around. And that's your opportunity to get into the industry at the moment. There's a huge opportunity in the underground space or the exploration space. Unfortunately, there's only a handful of jobs going elsewhere. So next, let's talk about interviews. The employers just want you to be able to answer those mining questions in the interview. Once you can do that, all they're interested in is finding out that you're a reasonable sort of person. There's some standard questions that they'll ask in an interview, like how have you dealt with a difficult person? What are you going to do if you see somebody doing something wrong? It's pretty much standard stuff. And all that information is, especially for the hard rock underground side of things, if you're going down that path, all that information is contained in the back of the Australian Mining Seminar. Now, lastly is on the job. So what happens when you get on the job? And I did this video a couple of months ago about what employers want from new starters. And the ultimate thing is, you're not safe on your job until you can be left alone. Over the years, I've seen a lot of people that have been able to use the gear, come in and been able to use the gear straight away, really good with all that sort of stuff, but they just can't get their head around the way the mine operates and what everybody else does. And if you can't be left alone, then there's no way that you're going to make it. You have to be able to be left alone to do the job, to be a safe and productive member of crew. That's when you've made it. The other thing you have to do is you have to do your 6 months. It can be extremely hard to get another job if you don't do 6 months in your first job. Especially for the underground side of things, most of the foremen that I know, if you do less than 6 months in your first job, they just see it as buying into failure. All you need to do is 6 months and 2 days to move on to the next job, but you need to do that 6 months. I hope everybody's found that information helpful. There's a lot going on around the place. This just got announced the other day. BHP and Tesla have announced a major agreement now for nickel. And one of the things that not a lot of people realise is that the big nickel mines that they're reopening, they aren't surface nickel mines, while there are a few around. The majority of the big mines at the moment that supply all the nickel are hard rock underground. And again, that's what's driving this demand. There's a lot of big mines that were mothballed at the end of 2012, 2013 that they're reopening now. They're going to need 50 people on a crew. It's just the way it is, and they've already got nobody at the moment. So that's where your opportunity is if you want to try and get into the industry, hard rock underground or exploration. If you want to have a crack at going underground, then have a look at the sponsor's Intro to Underground Mining course. The DIY package is $450. If you want some help and want one of the underground training shift bosses to give you a hand, Work Ready's $8.99. You still do all the online training, but when you sign up, you send your resume in, they redo your resume for you, and then you get one of the shift bosses to prep you. So it's their job to make sure that you've understood the mining information, prep you for interview questions, and make sure that you know what you're talking about before you send you in for an interview anywhere. Then they also help you with ongoing help through the interview process and the job process, just in case you have any curly things come up in your first 6 months on site. So that's quite a good little package there to think about. And if you have a look at the Wall of Fame page, if you go down, it's about 50-50 that have completed DIY and Work Ready that have got a job. So it's just a matter of how much support you need. I hope you find that information helpful and those 6 steps in getting a mining job. You need to do your research, then you need to work out what qualifications you need to do, sort your resume out. Once you sort your resume out, keep applying, don't give up. Sometimes it can take a while to get some traction, unfortunately, but then all of a sudden it comes in a flood. Be ready for those interviews. Make sure that you've got the mining information that the employers want you to know. And then once you're on the job, your total focus should be just trying to get up to speed quick enough so you can be left alone. When you're left alone, that's when you'll be a productive member of crew. So if you could hit the like button and subscribe and share this information around if you know someone that's trying to get into the industry. Thanks.